Well, I guess it's that time again. I've been I've been up for a while. We did a couple meditations this morning, did some exercising, and now it's time for Tao of the day. I'm here on the East Coast today, and usually I'm in Central Time, and so it's one of those things that you just gotta wait until people are ready. Wait until I'm ready. I'm ready to do the Tao. And so I am here with you, asking you if you'd like to come up and give me a number between 1 and 81. We can read your Tao for the day. I am always open to having discussions around the Tao and seeing what comes up for you. Uh, Julie, you're gonna have to wait because I had someone in just before you. I just saw you come up. I don't want you to wait, really. Lashona,
Yes, how are you,
I'm
Martin?
doing well. How are you, dear?
I'm good. Thank you for asking.
So, I don't know you.
I
I
know.
don't think we've ever spoken.
Never.
Never. Are you familiar with what Tao of the Day is?
I don't, but it sounds interesting.
Okay, so the Tao of the Day is the Tao Te Ching is a ancient text written about 600 BC. So in relation, that's around the time a lot of scholars believe that the Old Testament was being written.
Okay.
And it consists of 81 verses, let's say. The chapters, verses, they're pretty short, so verses. Um, and the Tao Te Ching kind of translates to the canon of reason. So it's all about living a reasonable life. And so they have these texts all about how we can live a reasonable life. So I ask you to pick a number between 1 and 81, and then we read that verse and kind of go through it together.
Okay. Number 7.
Number 7. Lucky number 7. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll read it through. We'll get a couple initial reactions, then we'll go through it line by line. Sound good?
Okay.
All right. The Tao is infinite, eternal. Why is it eternal? It was never born, thus it can never die. Why is it infinite? It has no desire for itself, thus it is present for all beings. The master stays behind, that is why she is ahead. She is detached from all things. That is why she is at one with them. Because she has let go of herself, she is perfectly fulfilled.
Wow.
So that is your Tao for the day. So as we look at this, do you have any kind of initial thoughts? I can read it again throughout if you'd like.
It sounds deep and it sounds like what I need to do now because it
Mm,
says that she is one with herself. It's
mm-hmm.
um I give and I give and I give and I give. And I don't know if this makes sense. And
Oh,
I give until I'm exhausted and there's nothing left for me.
mm-hmm.
Um, and I have a problem with doing that.
I
When
hope
you
so.
and when you do that too much, you hurt yourself.
Yes, yes.
And it says she becomes one, like she becomes detached from other stuff. And I need to do that
Yeah.
because the attachments in my life are toxic and they're not helping me.
Mm-hmm.
They're hurting me.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's always magic how the verse that you pick is always the one that you need to hear. It's
yeah,
just it's just a magical thing.
yeah.
I agree, and for what you're saying, I would love to kind of just spotlight this one line that's the master stays behind. That is why she is ahead. The idea that like what I hear you say is that you're always trying to be ahead. You're
Yeah.
always trying to get ahead. Kind of be there for someone else. Be in the middle. And
And
yet
you, yes.
and yet if you were able to like really take yourself into consideration and really put yourself in that place uh of being important, you would stay behind and
Yes.
allow them to take the lead. That way you could inspire that
Like
by
right now.
your
Yep.
By your being able to stay behind, you can actually be ahead. But every time we try to get ahead, all we do is we see the next person ahead of us. It's like when we drive. If you like, I know a lot of people who drive this way. It's just like there's someone ahead of me. Now I'm gonna go faster until I pass that person, and then I can drive a normal speed. It's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
There's always gonna be someone ahead of you.
Yeah. I take care of everybody but me.
Yeah, yeah.
I went to the hair salon yesterday, and this might sound crazy. And I thought I noticed it about a month or so ago. And of course, I'm a black woman, and I've been through like things before. When I get stressed, my hair, like, it breaks off, it
Yeah.
gets thin,
Mhm.
and it's doing that right now. And I'm so upset
Yeah.
because I was taking care of my hair. If nothing else on me wasn't getting taken care of, I try to take care of my hair. But the stresses and being overwhelmed has now caught up to my hair,
And that's the thing. If you take care of your heart, everything gets taken care of from there.
and my heart is broke. I'm around toxicity, and I'm working to get away from it. And, you know, me and my kids are going through a transition where we need a home, and I'm in my mother's house. None of
Mhm.
my five siblings don't come help me with her. She don't make them come help me. And they're not kind. My family is cruel and
Yeah.
mean and nasty. And they are the ones that I need to get away from and stay away from so that I can get ahead.
Mhm.
My situation is like a woman being in labor, and my kids, when a woman is in labor, and if you don't breathe in between your pushes and
Mhm.
stop when the pain stops, you rip yourself.
Yeah.
That's my situation. That's how I could describe my situation. Being in labor, pushing, not breathing, and tearing yourself.
Yeah. That's a really good analogy for a lot of things. And like when you're
When you're
in that spot where you're at right now, like you have to remember, like you're saying, you have to remember to breathe, but also you got to remember that you are in labor. There is birth happening. You are creating
Yes.
a new you. And that also means you may have to create new relationships. You can't rely on the relationships that you've had all of this time,
Yeah.
because they have to change. If you have expectations for people to help you that are not going to help you, your expectations are a thing that's ripping
For
you.
you. Yes. If I
N-
could, sir, I would run today.
Right.
I would pack a bag, birth, social, ID,
I get you.
money, run. Just run. I would just run, cut off social media. I would run. I would go off the grid.
But
Off the grid.
right, and but we have to recognize also that it's your heart that needs to be healed, and so what you're running from is always around you. And yes, there is toxicity in your surroundings, but that means there is toxicity in your heart, my love.
I guess. I'm hurt and I'm angry.
I
So I'm not
know.
gonna say I'm sorry.
Yes,
I'm
and
so
that's the
angry.
I get you.
I'm so I'm so angry because I don't understand why. I don't understand. I'm angry. I'm hurt. But
Mhm.
if I got away, it's like, how can I say this? Because I always make up like a scenario. It's like having a cut, and I'm your wife, right? Or your girlfriend, or whatever, or your cousin, or your friend, but I have access to you. And I go pick the scab off when you go to sleep. And you keep looking at me like, why you messing with my cut? Why you keep taking the scab off? And every time I take the scab off, I'm injuring your skin each time I do it, and the scab never heals. So in certain situations, it's hard to heal where they keep picking off your scab. It's hard to get healthy if they keep picking off your scab and they don't let you heal. They
Mhm.
don't let me heal. They don't let my kids heal. They're
Yeah.
constantly doing things. So sometimes, in order to, it's like, now I'm going to use another analogy, someone on drugs. The first thing people are telling them to do is get away from the environment where they got hooked at. Go to a place, and most of those clinics and those places be all the way away from wherever they live. They might be in another state or somewhere up in a suburb,
Hmm. Hmm.
somewhere really high away where it's serene and they can kind of deal with themselves and start admitting they're wrong in order to get to their truth. And sometimes it's totally not easy to heal in a place where you're being abused. It's just not easy for me. Like
Yeah.
I have not mastered that yet. I don't know
No.
how to do that
Right.
yet.
And it is, like it is. It's a long road, and I want you to know I got 21 years clean and sober, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like
And
I've had to get away from a lot of toxicity. I've had to, and I have been and seen myself as the victim a lot in my life, and that's not a fun place to be.
mm-mm, it's not.
You know.
And if things were different, and the funny thing is, I could walk. I could walk out of here and go to the Greyhound station and tell the lady to send me to the littlest town on your map. And I wouldn't care if I was the only black person in that town and there was a bunch of polka dot people in that town. Honey, I would embrace them like they was my first, second, and third cousin. Do you
Yeah.
hear me?
Mhm. Yeah.
I
I
could
know that feeling.
Yeah, I could walk.
I spent my time on a bus before. Like I know
I don't
exactly what
have
you're
to
saying.
stay here. I don't have to dwell in here
No.
because I have the means to walk.
Yeah.
Thank God about my means.
Yeah.
It's just some other things I need to get together.
That's
But I
right.
have the means to
And it's
walk.
coming. It's coming. But like it's gonna be good for you. Like this, for whatever reason, you're being held through. And I want to get back to the Tao real quick because
Okay.
this might help you kind of be today. Not that it can help you be forever, but like one day at a time, right? The
Mm-hmm.
Tao is infinite, eternal. And the Tao, like we can look at the Tao as kind of God. We can look at the Tao as however you want to look at it. You can look at it as a universe.
Mm-hmm.
Infinite, eternal. Why is it eternal? It was never born.
Mm-mm-mm.
Thus, it can never die. And this is
Mm-mm-mm.
within you. This is
Mm-hmm.
within you. This thing that was never born and never dies is within you. Why is it infinite? It has no desire for itself.
Mm-mm-mm.
Thus, it can be present for all beings. How do you read that? When we say it has no desires for itself, thus it can be present for all beings.
Like it doesn't want, if I had to use it in human form, like a person don't want anything for themselves, but you want good for everyone else around you. You want safety for everyone else around you. Because I don't know how to use someone else but
Mm.
myself.
Right.
That's how I
Yeah, of
feel
course.
about my children.
Right.
Even if I go through things with my mother, but even for my mother, I'm trying to make sure she has the proper home health aides that are going to be here when I move. I want to see my children do well. I worry about all of that on a daily basis. It's like I tell my daughter, I want to see you win.
That's right.
I want to see you win. I don't want you to be like me. I don't want you to be in a place where you're walked over and taken advantage of. She doesn't have to go to college, but go do something, get a craft, educate yourself, put yourself in a position where you can be fucking great. And nobody can snatch that from you. And you won't find yourself in certain positions because you'll have your own. It says, God bless the child who has its own.
Yes. Yes.
And
You
that's
know,
how,
you, I wanna kind of chime in just a touch here on this idea of desire for itself.
yes.
And I want you to really kind of see this because this is like one, you have a beautiful desire for your children and what you see in that, and I know that that is coming from a place that is so emotionally charged, and that is emotionally charged because you are hurt and you are grinding right now, and I get you. I want to hold this space for you right now. And I want you to know that, like, when we talk about this idea, no desire for itself, right? It's also like understanding that, like, other people can hurt too. And we want to protect to such a degree that we don't want them to feel pain, but they're going to feel pain.
I
They
know.
sure going to feel pain. And we have to be able to love them and love ourselves in that pain,
Yes.
because that pain is temporary.
Yes.
But you are eternal.
Yes.
Your children are eternal. They're not going to be eternal in their bodies, but they are eternal. And I want you to come back up if you want to continue chat, because your time is about up. Frankie, I see you. I do want to finish this real quick, just because this is a deep connection I want to make. So hopefully, she comes back up. Come back up, please. Bring yourself back up. There you go. Come on now. And I wanna finish up this number 7.
Um,
So so yeah, I just wanted to kind of like look at this idea of like when you have no desire for yourself, when you say I want them to be safe, that's a desire for yourself. Deep in their, in their contract with God, in their contract with the universe, maybe safety is not a priority. They have to do their work. And when we step up and we say we want what's best for you, but what's best for you is what would always be best for me, that's a desire for myself.
mm-hmm.
And we have to recognize that your mom and your siblings and your children and yourself all have different contracts.
That's true.
And your contract right now is right here.
Mm-hmm.
And however much we want to say we don't want this for you, if this ends up being what you chose, I respect that. And I say that as someone who, was out there, strung out for 13 years. So when I say that in the space of like, you know what, I needed to be that way. I needed to be under the influence of drugs and alcohol. I needed to be under the influence of my own self-hate and my own disgust for who I was. Now, when I see my nieces and nephews, starting to dip into that, I respect it. Now, it doesn't mean that I go along with it. I respect them for where they are. And when they see that respect without fear, when they see that I respect them without fear or judgment, they get to turn inward and they get to look inside and say, wait, maybe I am worth a damn.
Mm-hmm.
And
Totally.
that's how I see this idea of like, why is it infinite? It has no desire for itself, thus it can be present for all beings. As soon as you get afraid for someone else, can you be present for them?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's your fear that you're present with.
Mm-hmm.
You're not able to be present for them. And that's kind of how I see that. Does that resonate?
Mm-hmm. It does.
And then we move on and it says the master stays behind. That is why she is ahead.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about that just a little bit earlier. Do you have
I
any thoughts on that?
I like that part. Like the man
Yeah.
that stays behind, and that's why she's ahead. Yeah.
We all gotta, like face the shit that we've run from. And that's why when you talked about running earlier, I was like, oh, well, you're gonna run, but you're always gonna find yourself.
The sad part is, to be honest with you, I don't know how I end up in this with my family. And it's because I feel like they literally they dump it on me. They don't want to be bothered with my mother. They don't want to deal with nothing. So because I'm in her house because of some other craziness, and
Yeah.
I'm not like I'm gonna say this. I don't even know what it feel like to have a hangover. I don't get high. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I mean, I drink wine. Forgive me. I love plum
Don't.
wine with
That's all
my
right.
sushi.
Everybody
I
do
don't
their own thing.
drink other liquor. I don't
That's all
smoke
right.
cigarettes. I don't smoke weed. So my situation didn't happen based on me doing drugs or
No, there's
things
no,
of that nature.
and as someone who is, like, who is a harm reductionist, like, there is no moral problem with having a drug or alcohol problem.
No,
So
it's not.
no,
It
and
happens.
I'm just saying that, not but I hear you. I hear
Yeah.
exactly what you're saying.
Uh,
Like,
yeah. I
a lot of
always
people would say, "Oh, you're living like I'm
yeah.
46, single, and I live in my mother's house right now."
I lost my home due to my family members.
There it is.
I had a situation. Yeah, it's crazy. January 11th, my sister called the Department of Adult Services and lied and told them that my youngest son has been beating on my daughter and me. And I had a whole case, and this is the second time that they've done this. So when
Mm,
I tell you it's torment,
yeah,
and the lady that came out turned around and it's become my friend
yeah,
because she met my children. She saw me. She saw my kids. She evaluated the situation. And the night she came out, she said, I'm going to close the case.
yeah.
And a few days later, the letter came. But it's just the idea to go through that. I
Yeah, the
mean,
fact you gotta prove that you're a good
yeah,
neighbor, right? You
yeah,
gotta prove that you're worthy of not having
yeah.
to have the government up in your fucking business.
And this happened because my mother gets on the phone and she lies when she doesn't get what she wants. And there's no Alzheimer's. There's no nothing. It's matters of her heart. I clean her. I change poop. I sit in the house. I left my job because I didn't want to give her COVID because I work with the Board of Education and I
Hmm.
work with kids and teachers and principals and everybody. And I did not want to bring COVID in her home. So I did not go back to work as of yet.
Right.
And that's the part of that whole number seven that just broke me
Yeah.
because no one understands the sacrifices you make for people who don't even appreciate them. And for
Right.
you to talk to your sibling, your other kids, and for them to make accusations like that. And they have to search my son's body
Hmm.
and look at his arms and his body. And my son is high function, but he's special needs.
Yeah.
And since
Mhm.
then, he don't sleep good. He was having problems sleeping before, but it got really bad after that. Like he was up to like 7 o'clock in the morning where he couldn't sleep. Like it hurts. And
Yeah.
to know that I'm in here with you and your kids won't come and you won't call them, so I can even get on a bus or train to go find a home for me and my kids, that is absurd.
Right.
That is total bullshit and rubbish. So to be here like this, because my heart don't let me walk out, but I'm gonna walk out because I'm gonna put my children and me first.
And that's,
It's
you're gonna get ahead, but once again, the master stays behind. That is why she is.
yeah. If I
she is.
stay behind,
She is. She is the.
they gonna kill us, Martin. They done beat
No,
us
I
and
hear that,
hit
but
us.
it doesn't mean stay where you're at. It doesn't mean
I
stay where
got
you're
you.
at, right? She is detached from all things. Like, when you can detach yourself from the in like you mentioned earlier, you're not living under the influence of drugs or
No,
alcohol
I'm
or
not.
anything like that, but you are living under the influence of your moral code, or your idea of what is right and wrong. You are living under the influence of your family.
Unfortunately, because they're
You
not
are
nice. They're
right.
not nice.
And those influences, right? Like, those influences are the things that you're attached to certain outcomes, you know, like, and that's where it's like, well, how can, you know, you were talking about this earlier. How can you detach? How can you detach from those outcomes?
Well, I'm working on it. I have
Yeah.
caseworkers working with me.
This is just a meditation. It's
It's
not
okay,
about
it's okay.
yeah.
It's okay, I'm working on it. I
Yeah,
have
I get you.
caseworkers working with me.
Yeah, good.
I don't know if you ever heard of domestic violence organizations, because what's been being done to us
Mhm.
is considered domestic violence.
Yes,
So,
ma'am.
so
And it's traumatic.
I have caseworkers, case
Good.
managers, and I am on some waiting lists with
Good.
some really nice places.
Go on. See, that's the thing. And getting out, you know, it sounds like is the goal. So, like, that's the thing. Like, stay detached because if you feel like your getting out is unfair to your family,
Oh no, I would
good
run
on
like a
you, right?
I
Because
would
that's how
run.
abuse works.
And you're gonna be mad at me when I say this, but this is a joke. I would run like a man running from his responsibilities, and I'm a big girl. I'm like 200 and bloop pounds. You would see every piece of cellulite and body fat that I have behind me. I would be running so fast.
Well, get on. Well, good on you, because that's the thing. Sometimes when you get attached to those ideas of right and wrong, you put yourself so far second that you hurt yourself. And
You
so I
do.
don't want you to do that. I want you to get yourself detached from all things. That is why you can be. And when you do that, you'll have a new relationship. Because like here it says, you know, like she's detached. That's why she's at one with them. You can be at one with your family. You can love your family when you're not under their influence.
And the sad part is, and I'm saying this is the sad part, I still do love them. That's why I say
I know that's not
I
sad.
don't
That's beautiful.
understand. I don't
No, that's
understand
beautiful
them.
because they are part of you and you love yourself.
Yep.
That's why.
I'm the great part of them though. I'm the
Yeah.
great part.
They have, you know, like, and they are showing you parts of yourself as well. These
Yeah.
are all lessons. These are
Yeah.
all lessons that we're growing into.
It
Because,
hurts.
go
I'm
on.
sorry. Go ahead. I
Be,
just don't like seeing my kids hurt. And
no, right,
that's the
because
thing.
you don't like seeing anybody hurt.
I don't like seeing them hurt now.
Right.
I have nice young black sons and a beautiful young black daughter. I have nice young adults. They're nice. They're nice. They're not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but they're nice. When people
I
meet my kids, they say, "You've done well with your kids." My son works, he's a supervisor. My daughter's amazing. She does hair. My baby, my 22-year-old, he's just amazing. They're just loving. They're just really nice human beings. And I
yeah.
just want the best for them and every other youth that's out here in this world. These kids deserve to be in peace and harmony and not grow up to be traumatic adults. That I don't like injustice when it comes to children. And even though they're in their 20s, they're still young. They still
Oh yeah.
need love. They still need encouragement. They still need to know that they're safe. And when people tangle with youth, children, babies, toddlers, young adults, when we screw them up from babies, we screw them up as young adults and grown men and women. And I don't like that. That bothers my soul. And that makes me want to kick some ass. Makes me want to kick ass. Yes,
Yeah.
it does. I don't like it.
Right. And that's a, you know, like all of that is really important to be able for you to be able to see and 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 really be able to protect yourself and your children and
Yeah.
those around you.
When
And then we have this last line. I'm just going to finish
I'm
this.
listening. Go ahead.
Because she has let go of herself. You know, when you say because she has let go of herself and her desires, remember, like we talked earlier, all of that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
She is perfectly fulfilled right now, perfectly fulfilled, right? Like knowing that you are on this path, you're on these waiting lists, you are caring for your children, you've done good for your children, you're taking care of your mom while that's your responsibility, and you're able to walk away when it is no longer on you to do that because of the situation, and then you will be able to be even right now you can experience fulfillment because of what you're experiencing and where you're headed, because you
Mhm.
know things are going to change. You know that you're being held.
Yeah.
It's not easy,
It's not.
but you're here, and you're here for a reason, love.
I am.
And your children, they love you. And your
I love.
family, like your family can only love you as much as they love themselves.
Ooh, you ain't said nothing but a mouthful.
And so how much can you expect?
From them. Nothing. I don't anymore. I used to, and I didn't expect material things, but love. Love
Right.
is the most beautiful gift that you can give somebody, and love is this little word that's this huge word,
Mm-hmm.
and love covers a multitude of things, and
So
that's the
true.
problem with the world. We don't really know
Mhm.
the true definition of love.
No.
Love isn't selfish. Love doesn't control. Love provides peace, joy, safety,
Love
hope.
is everything.
It's everything. And
Thank
it's
you
so
so much. You're dropping short. Yep, yep. There you go. I'm gonna bring up someone else, and we're gonna move through. Energy lady, Catherine. I do see you there. We've had some people come in and out just because there was a longer conversation. But energy lady, how are you doing?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you this morning? It's cold out here and it's early.
I have windows open. I'm in Virginia at the moment.
I don't want to hear it. It's
Yeah.
cold out there. No, well, I'm not listening to you, Martin John.
I slept with windows open last night. I am
Really?
so
What's the temperature? Is it muggy or
it's
what?
no, it's a little it's moist. It's moist. Everything is just a little damp, but it is, it's probably upper 60s. It was 70s yesterday. It might be in the lower 60s, upper 50s right now, but I like a nice brisk
You like
morning.
the chill?
Yeah. That's brisk, baby.
Yeah. Well, no, we're in the up lower 40s.
Oh yeah. Well, see, yeah, that's like I'm I'm going to be traveling back to Chicago today, and it's going to be like there's snow there right now and all this stuff, and so, but I always love a nice low 40s day after the 20s and teens and single digits of Chicago winters, but.
Yeah. Well, just so you know, I've never lived in that, and there's a reason.
Yeah, yeah, it's not it's not pleasant.
Just
I
so
just
you know. Just
Yeah,
just
yeah.
saying. Just saying.
I I can take like when I want to move to Spain, and I want to live in Galicia, which is northern Spain. And so it's like the coldest I ever want to be in my coming years is 35. I think 35 is really nice. Maybe 35 and wet, that can get to the bones, so that's good enough. Like,
Right.
but yeah, I think I'm done with snow.
Okay.
So give me a number.
3.
Number three. Keeping them low today.
I don't know what the first one was, but I
It
took
was
3.
yeah. It was number seven. It was number seven. If you overesteem great men, people become powerless. If you overvalue possessions, people begin to steal. The master leads by emptying people's minds and filling their cores, by weakening their ambition and toughening their resolve. I always read that sentence incorrectly. I want to read it properly. The master leads by emptying people's minds and filling their cores, by weakening their ambitions and toughening their resolve. He helps people lose everything they know, everything they desire, and creates confusion in those who think they know. Practice non doing, and everything will fall into place.
That one part cracked me up because hold on a second here. Um, I was talking to my friend who's really just she's kind of like a sounding board to me, but she always has this this wisdom. Um, and she taught showed me something about person who I thought I could not give credit to, but I told her, I said, I respect this person. She goes, I don't. I go, what do you mean you don't? And she showed me something about it that I was giving this person something that she wasn't,
Yeah.
energies wise. And it was interesting because I just had a different perspective. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's
You know,
that
and
simple.
then and it's and does that, I mean, is that what part cracked you up? What was the part? Was it
Well,
the end there?
I
The
was like the
practice
third.
not doing and everything will fall into place?
Oh no, that's mine.
Okay, yeah.
Um, no, that's something that, and I understand. I do believe that I can feel that answer.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, because you could say you understand it, but who understands practice and not doing, right?
Right.
No, it was. I don't know. Read it again, and I'll tell you to
Yeah.
stop.
The master, I think you mean maybe emptying people's minds and filling their cores, weakening their
No, no, go
ambitions of
ahead.
resolve. He helps people lose everything they know, everything they desire, and creates confusion in those who think that they know.
Right there.
Okay, yeah.
Because the confusion that I was having is who that person was
Right.
as as a person. I want to say for me, but it wasn't really for me. But I had put that person in a position I misunderstood
Yeah.
energetically. This is all energetically. This
Yeah,
is
that's an interesting line. I didn't look at it this way before. Now, I mean, maybe I have, but
right.
it's
I get
interesting,
it.
this this idea that, and creates confusion in those who think that they know. And just now, as we look out in the world right now, and we see people constantly doing two things, right? Knowing the answer, and at the same time, they are searching for deeper understanding, right? Like, and there's this kind of interesting back and forth always happening, like, and that's, I don't know, we'll get to that when we read through it line by line, but it's there's something, there's a seed that was planted today for this line that I don't think I had previously. So thank you for that. All right, so we start this. If you overesteem great men, people become powerless.
If you overesteem great men,
Yeah.
what would that mean to you?
Well, that means to me, like, when you give, like, and this is how I kind of understand it, is if you if you put anybody above other people, and those people put them above themselves, right? If you overesteem somebody, if you give them more power than you have, then you've made yourself powerless.
Well, that's why I was laughing
Yeah.
because this person was idolized upon, not by
Hmm.
me.
Yeah.
And then I saw what was being offered, and I thought, well, maybe. And when I was talking to my friend, she's like, no. She goes,
Yeah.
I don't have the respect. What do you mean? And I told her, I said, just keep going. I said, God, I said, it all has to do with money. She says, yeah, because of what I was taught that, when you have a shitload of money, then you're superior.
Right. Right. If you overesteem
And I
great
was
men.
taught, yeah, yeah, that was something that definitely I learned. And it's not true. And I know it's not true. So this was just another, ah. So I woke up
Right.
this morning just laughing, going, I'm free.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's such a, like, in my parlance and my terminology and stuff, I always utilize that term, under the influence, right? Like,
right.
we're just under the influence of so many different things all the time, like, and especially, in our world of, like, the most important thing is your fame, like, is like, how many people are going to buy your products and buy your book and talk
And how
about
many
your,
followers do you have?
yeah, how
And
many followers do you have, all of that kind of stuff, as you over esteem individuals, right? Like, people become powerless, people become like, oh, now everybody wants to reach that and wants to get to that point. And then, like it says here, if you overvalue possessions, people begin to steal.
yep. And I don't over as much as I can because my sister's motto was never enough. And it wasn't never enough on the spiritual energetic side. It was never enough stuff.
Right.
Um, and so I was raised in that. I mean,
Yeah.
in so many different, which is fine because it taught me to be detached from stuff, but I kind of went the opposite direction
Right. Yeah.
because
And that's
I did, but now I'm learning how to feel it and balance it. So,
right. And that's such a it's like because I talk so much about recovery, it's so important to recognize when the pendulum is swung the other way, right? Like it's like, oh, like I don't want like it's not that I when
it
like my
doesn't feel
system.
good. That's what I always say. I make
Yeah.
it as simple as possible. It doesn't feel good, and if it doesn't feel good, then that means I'm going away from me. So, what direction am I going in?
Right. Right.
And but the funny part about it was I didn't know that I was doing it. I didn't have that awareness I was doing it because it was so right there in front of me, normal. So that's
Yeah.
why I'm laughing. I'm like, normally I get a huh, and no, not this time. I was like, okay. I mean, I
Right.
called my son yesterday to say, hey, y'all okay? Your wife? Why? Because you're not. I've been texting her. Mom, she doesn't have time to answer. Okay. I
Okay.
said, just I was checking in, seeing if she had good. Mom, she spent time with her grandparents. I'm a grandma, get it?
Yeah.
Correlation. I said, was she had to go? Mom, she doesn't have time to answer that stuff. All right.
All right.
And it's like, it's the same thing. It's like, I was taking all that crap personal. And I went, no, this is him spinning out of control. It's not me. All
Right.
right. He can have fun with that. I just told him he was all mad. And I told him, I said, sweetie, you go do what you got to do. Have a good time. But
That's
mom,
right.
nope,
Enjoy.
go. I
Enjoy.
just didn't know. I love you.
Yeah. Yeah. Just
And
checking in.
oh,
What's up? Like no big deal.
that's what I told him.
And
I
that's
said, I just want him to
I
know.
remember like not long ago I was texting somebody and I would text them. I'd be like, you are not required to respond to me. Like
Hmm.
the texts that I sent, it had no question in it, and had like it was just like I knew that they were coming up to their last day at work, and so I would send a text that would be like, hey, you're doing great, like a couple more days and you're gonna be free, and it's like, if I were to have sensed that there was like frustration in there, I wouldn't have, like I wouldn't have wanted to cause that frustration, but I also want to be me, and it feels good for me to support my buddy in getting rid of their job, and so it was really just a space, and I think that they took it really like they like you said, like your son was like, she doesn't have time. That's okay. That's fine. Like just checking in. What the hell? I should get mad at me. But
Do
it's
you
all
want your no? Do you want your granddaughter to know her grandparents? Just asking.
yeah,
Because
right?
last weekend he had his grandpa, and he was all over it, and I couldn't talk to him. And then this weekend, and I'm like, hello, I'm one of those, but
yeah.
I'm leaving it. I mean, I'm not taking it personal. But anyway, let's keep going because
Yeah. The master leads by emptying people's minds and filling their cores, by weakening their ambition and toughening their resolve.
can you share that a little bit on that one? That looks
Yeah.
sounds a little negative.
Well, actually, I like this because it's like the master leads by emptying people's minds and filling their cores. Their core being like, what's really important? Like is it your desire for money and possessions or greatness or to be esteemed? Like, fill your core. And when you fill your core, you weaken your ambition. I think weakening ambition, especially in this world, is really a nice thing to think about because people are so ambitious, so much so that they forget their families, so much so that they forget what's important. They forget that they are the ones that are important. This ambition of being overesteemed, this ambition of of having possessions, all of that ambition, like we want to weaken their ambition and toughen their resolve. You're so resistant and resilient as a human being that you don't need to surround yourself with comfort all the time. You can be comfortable in situations that are difficult. And so I think that like when you are in a space of like real bliss doesn't come from ambition. I think real bliss and real sort of self-contentment is being with you. And so as I see that, it says, like, get out of your head and get into your body, get into the core of who you are and what you are.
And I'm giggling because what you're sharing with me without knowing it, of course, is that the part that I am seeing for myself, and it's honestly by the grace of this young lady just being, is that I'm breaking free from all of that because you're describing all of that, Marjan, and I'm seeing my sisters, I'm seeing this lady and this whole thing that I had put on, and I'd seen my son, and I'm like, they're all about possessions, and I'm not. I'm all about the heart.
Yeah.
And
Fill your
so
heart.
yeah, no, but I was trying to figure out where the hesitation was,
Yeah.
inside of me that,
Yeah.
and it's
Right.
not there. That's why I'm giggling because I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, there it is. Okay, there it is.
And then it continues to say he helps people lose everything they know, everything they
Hmm.
desire, and creates confusion in those who think they know.
Welcome to my world of
Yeah,
playground and messing with your head. And not
that's
really,
right.
it's just messing with somebody else's thinking they have the energy straight up.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Practice practice not doing and everything will fall into place.
In other words, play the game and see what happens.
That's right. That's right. Roll the dice. And that's your number for now.
Your love. Thank you so much. That was
Thank
fun.
you. Yeah, thank you. So beautiful. Catherine's coming up. We're gonna chat with Catherine, my buddy. Difficult to see always the future is. Catherine hosted I thought I let her on already, but I didn't. I was slow on the uptick.
Try again.
Difficult to see always the future is.
We're staying in the low places.
We're staying in the low places. We are.
Yeah, because we're going with number 10.
We're number 10. This is good. Staying in the low number. Can you coax your mind from its wandering and keep to the original oneness? Can you let your body become supple like a newborn child's? Can you cleanse your inner vision until you see nothing but the light? Can you love people and lead them without imposing your will? Can you deal with the most vital matters by letting events take their course? Can you step back from your own mind and thus understand all things? Giving birth and nourishing, having without possessing, acting without expectation, leading and not trying to control, this is the supreme virtue. Hmm. A lot of questions.
It is. Are they personal questions? Sort of feels like they're personal question, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, they do. They do. So yeah.
So let's get in. Let's dive in.
Let's just dive right in. Let's see. Can you coax your mind from its wandering and keep to the original oneness? The original oneness, of course, being the Tao, right?
Being intuition.
Intuition.
Let's
Let's
be
let's let's
correct
cut to
here.
the quick. Yeah, let's
Yeah,
talk, let's speak to the audience.
that's right.
Can you let your body become supple like a newborn child's? How does that relate to the intuition?
Well, you hold your stress in your body. You get
Yeah.
you physical, and also you get physical reactions also with intuition. Your gut feeling, you
Hmm.
know, if you're going the wrong way, or if you're off roading, people get headaches, or it gets in their shoulders, so yes, there's your answer.
Yeah, I do like that. That's how I was seeing it as well. Um, can you cleanse your inner vision until you see nothing but the light?
Well, again, that's getting rid of all your overthinking and all that heavy logic and to-do lists,
Right.
all that
Hmm.
crap. So you get into the Goldilocks zone.
The Goldilocks zone.
The Goldilocks zone.
See, and now, can you love people and lead them without imposing your will? As this relates to intuition, the work that we have so often spoken about, like so often we can attach other people's decisions to what we think we want and what we, but when we can trust intuition, even if we're stepping away from, let's say, an opportunity, like if we're being called to step away from it, then it's not an opportunity.
Yeah. Well, and maybe that is the opportunity because
Ah,
it's opening up to something else.
right. Yeah.
And also the other part of that is I was having this interesting conversation yesterday. I'd like to say who it is, but I can't remember. Where also, as an intuitive that outsource, and I'm sure you've heard me before, but I don't give a lot of perspective. I give what comes through, or I ask questions. I don't say, here's what I see. I mean, I will have friends and clients that will call and they'll go, I want to tell you something. And then they'll go, you already know this, though. I know you already know this.
Right.
And I'll say, well, tell anyways. They're like, but you already know. I'm like, but it's share what you want. Maybe I don't know. And they're like, well, whatever. And so, it's not for me to share their great news, ask their question, explain their challenge to them. It is for them to use their own voice.
Right.
So, from both sides of that, it is so important for us to, follow our own tuition, our own path, and use our own voice, not to give voice to someone else.
Right. And you don't have to, like, so often when we try to manifest things in our lives with our minds without, like, really trusting intuition and to be guided to that, which we have the story of what other people are going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, other people are going to do this and this is going to make my life better. And it's like, no, that doesn't, it's like, you don't, like, when you can love people and lead them without imposing your will, without trying to get them to do what you want. I remember one time, like, I was with somebody and we were in like some sort of like a Cabela's or something, or Cabela's or whatever. It's like a hunting fishing store thing. And there were fish, and this person was like calling the fish to them, and they were like I am going to use my energetic, like, influence to get these fish to come towards me. And I had a conversation with her about that. I was like, why do you want to impose your will on some
Yeah.
goldfish?
On this poor fish.
Right. The poor fish has so little. Like, it's in a tank. It's all this, and you want to also impose your will so you can feel like you have this power over it. And I was like, yes, we can do that. We do have
Oh,
the
yeah.
ability to energetically attract things to us. But and a goldfish or a fish, whatever, is probably, really easily influenced, especially because they're in a tank. And I was just kind of like, hey, why don't you leave the fish alone?
Yeah, yeah.
It was
That
very
poor
much a
fish is
place of,
probably
like,
like, all right, fine, but it's not like I'm really going that far when I'm not hearing
right,
it. So,
yes, I will come over and say hi to you. Okay, but
loser.
I'm like, oh, why are you doing this to this poor fish? And like, that's all. It's all where you're at. But it was a
It
good
is.
question to
And
ask
I
yourself.
think there's so many times when we don't realize that we're doing that.
Right.
And that is when I find this happens all the time when people don't realize they're in desperate energy. I just really want it really bad. I'm like, the energy
Right.
that's behind that is actually fear and desperation because attachment is that desperate energy for something to come to you. And I have to say, like a stinky skunk is what desperate energy feels like.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, and that
If
fish
you
just
could put a
comes over and
smell
goes,
to it,
"What's that
that's what
smell?"
it'd be.
Like,
Yeah. Desperate energy has skunk smell to it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. So, love people without imposing your will. Can you deal with the most vital matters by letting events take their course?
Ooh, that's a rough and tough one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's hard. It's hard. It's hard, especially when you look around and you're like, "Oh, this is what I see," and then you believe that. is all that there is, right? Like when you're like, oh, this is so important, I have to do this, I have to step in and say something and do something, and it's like, well, it's gonna happen, whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen.
Sorry, I'm dog wrangling because the heat people are on their way over.
Yeah.
You can hear
Oh,
elephants
good.
in my house.
Wait, do you have, is that fixed yet? Is your heat fixed yet?
Well, there's a ghost in the machine.
Oh, there
So
is always a
yes,
ghost in the
it
machine.
just turns on by itself when it chooses to. But like, so if it's going to be super cold, you can guarantee it'll turn off, but it will turn back on 18 to 36 hours later for
Okay.
no reason whatsoever. Like,
Yeah. 60 degrees outside.
yeah,
Like,
fortunately it's
like
warm enough right now that it's not
yeah.
that big of a deal, but yeah, so they're coming to look at it again. Good thing I'm already friends with them because then it would be weird, right?
Yeah. Can you step back from your own mind and thus understand all things? I look at that as being in this space of like, when you don't have to explain things, the understanding of them really kind of comes into light. You get to just observe it. And you don't have to predict, you don't have to defend, you don't have to understand. It just is. I mean, I posted something the other day about, if you it takes less energy to believe in everything than it does to not believe in something. Because as soon as like, if you believe in everything, then you don't have to understand it, you don't have to explain it, you don't have to defend it, you can just believe in it. But once you don't believe in something, and I had recognized this, with people that had specific beliefs. Well, as soon as you have a belief, like maybe the world is flat, if you believe the world is flat, you're trying to get everybody to understand you, and that the world is round, or what, like the world isn't round, and all of these other things, right? Like now all of a sudden you don't believe something. And what I was saying was that, like, yeah, sure, the world's flat, the world's round, and I'm not bothered by either. It doesn't matter because I don't have to explain it, but I can go ahead and I can believe it as it is without having to stand against anything. And that's kind of how I see this. Let your step back from your own mind, and stop trying to prove things, and then you can understand all things.
Yeah, and you know that's when we're so focused on making things be a certain way. That's sometimes where goals, I feel like, also get in the way.
Yeah.
As you set a goal, if I set a goal today for, like, I always hate this question. What are your goals 5 years from now?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, if you looked at the 5 years when I lost my house in a flood, my mom had a heart attack and all that, that kind of threw off my goals partway through. So I know not to make goals. So when you make these, you know, set these goals, set these things up, you're in a certain space. But as each moment moves forward, you have to constantly be adjusting. And so it's really hard if you're thinking, oh no, now I'm not going to be able to get there. You're caught in that. It's hard to let go. You got to
Yeah.
get out of your own way.
That's right. Yeah. And then we come into this final section, which is giving birth and nourishing, having without possessing, acting with no expectation, leading and not trying to control. This is the supreme virtue.
Yeah. And that is getting in that Goldilocks zone. You have to let go of all of this stuff to have that real freedom.
Yeah, and this is an interesting grouping of things, right? Giving birth and nourishing. These are
Yeah.
these are these are virtues. Giving birth to ideas, giving birth to ideas, and then nourishing those ideas with, actions, nourishing those
or
ideas with
or
time.
nourishing them through no action, just
Right.
letting intuition give you, the betterment. You don't I think it go this to me goes with work smarter, not harder.
Right.
And the work smarter is, you know don't spend all day beating your head against the wall trying to make something work that just doesn't feel quite right. Take 30 minutes to step away, give yourself a break, do something fun or different. And you may realize, oh, there's an easier way to do this. And you're like, boom, I'm done 20 minutes later.
Right. I mean, that's always the thing, right? Like when you're working in a really smart fashion, like you can I've always found that like when I'm doing the right things at the right time, like they happen so quickly and they're
Mm-hmm.
so easy. And you know, I recall times in my life where it's like I put things off, put things off, put things off, put things off, and then they took 10 minutes to do.
Yeah.
Like, oh, why did I struggle? Why didn't I just stop thinking about it for that year? Like, why
Or,
did I have
but
to
even,
fucking
but that might not been the moment when all the synchronicity and things come together and happen.
right? And that's what I'm
But
saying.
the,
Like, why think
yeah,
about it? Why
yeah.
hold
Why
on to
worry
that and
about
judge
when
or
it
whatever?
was hard? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is fun.
Yeah. Acting without or having without possessing. That's a nice one because like
Hmm.
so many of us want like we can have all of this. Like all of nature, we can step outside. We have every tree and yet we don't possess it. And you
Hmm.
know, so often like and we were talking earlier with the energy lady about this idea of like possessions. But you have everything. Like all of the air on the planet is yours and you don't own any of
And everything you need
it.
is also within you.
Yeah,
I mean, all things. This is very Jedi moment, isn't it?
it is. I'm sure there's a Yoda quote.
Be with the Force. It is within you and all around you.
Use the force, Luke.
That's right. It is. You
Act
don't have to possess it. I love that.
yeah. Acting without expectation.
Well, I mean, enough said,
Yeah.
really. I mean, I
enough
talk
said.
about that all the time.
Yeah. Are you yeah, you just went out. Leading and not trying to control. This is the supreme virtue. So beautiful. Thank you, Catherine. You are awesome. Yeah, so we went through a couple numbers today. I was really happy with that. If anybody wants to step up and give me a number between 1 and 81, this is Tao of the Day. Tao of the Day comes on weekdays. So this is Friday, meaning that you will not see me until Monday. I will be back in Chicago on Monday, and then I believe I'll be back, and then I'll be back in Virginia on Tuesday. So I am Martin John, your host for the Recover Yourself podcast, Tao of the Day here on Wisdom, and the Recover Yourself workshops and other Recover Yourself things. I am always down to chat with you. Lois is going to come on, and we're gonna give her weekend Tao of the Day. Lois, how are you, my dear?
Morning, Martin John.
Good morning. How are
Hey,
you doing?
I'm doing good. It's good. It's a good morning to put it like that. I got a good night's sleep, and I got a long. Oh, well, it's not a long weekend. A busy weekend ahead, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'm like, hey, come on, I'm ready to get started. Number
Yeah, let's get you
55.
started.
I'm gonna say
55?
55 because as soon as I pick up the phone, it said 555.
555.
So 55. That's 555 now.
He who is in harmony with the Tao is like a newborn child. Its bones are soft, its muscles are weak, but its grip is powerful.
Mm.
It doesn't know the union of male and female, yet its penis can stand erect. So intense is its vital power. It can scream its head off all day, yet never become hoarse, so complete is its harmony. The master's power is like this: he lets all things come and go effortlessly, without desire. He never expects results. Thus, he's never disappointed. He is never disappointed, thus, his spirit never grows old.
Mm. Wow. Interesting. Let's take that one line by line.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
that was a mouthful.
It was. And you know, it's funny, while I was reading my first Tao of the Day today, this particular verse came up in my mind. And I was like, I think I've only read this one once.
Really?
in the time that I've read this. And you know, it is because this is the only verse that references a penis. So you know, you know, like I was thinking, and it wasn't because of the penis that I thought of that. I just kind of
No,
I
I
do
know, I
remember.
understood
Yeah,
that. I got you because that was the first time I ever heard it. Then I'm like, did they say that at the time?
they
Did
sure
I read
did.
that?
They
Did
can
I
say
read
that on
that?
TV.
Okay, okay, thank you. Okay.
Okay, so it starts here. He who is in harmony with the Tao is like a newborn child. Okay, so I mean, this is just kind of laying the groundwork for what we're going to experience right now. He who is in harmony with Tao is like a newborn child. Like you are always newborn every moment. So
Every moment,
it's
and it's a curiosity too.
yes,
That's what I
absolutely.
because when I think about what my journey has been, it's been this part that I've been going through recently. It's been like it's like I'm learning stuff and it's brand new and it's like, oh, shiny penny, let me go see, you know.
That's right.
And then
Everything
when,
everything is
go ahead.
new.
Yeah,
Everything
and
is
then
new.
when I get it, then I start saying, "Oh, look at my shiny penny! Oh, look at my shiny penny! Oh, look, you guys, look at my
Yeah.
shiny penny! Look, y'all, look my shiny penny! Look, look."
Yeah.
That's what I get when I hear when I
That's
heard that.
right.
I can just see, and I know the feeling because everybody say, "Oh, you said high energy," and it's like I don't know. That's just me, you
Yeah.
know. But I'm just it's like for me, it's like it's been a new horizon that I've been going under, and then some of the things that I've like. I know that you reprocess stuff with every stage of development, so I must be
Mm.
at a different stage because right now everything is being reprocessed and redone, and it's and that's another reason why I haven't been able to talk either because some of the stuff I've learned has kind of like rocked my foundation, so
Yeah.
I got to get that foundation steady again. So I may otherwise, I will be crying like a baby because I've been lost who I. You know what I mean?
Mhm, mhm. Yeah,
You
you
get
got
lost
it.
in
You
the
I mean, you
mix,
gotta
and it's like,
process that.
well, yeah, got to process it, got to digest that stuff, and because if I start talking about what I'm learning now, it's like I can't tell you about nothing I'm learning because I don't know it yet, and you know,
That's
but
right.
it's rocking. I mean, it's shaking it, but it's not. It doesn't take me. It ain't taking me out. You know what I mean?
I hear
Before I
that.
would learn something new, and then my whole world would shatter. Okay,
Right.
and it's like, what the hell? They lied to me. Da, 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 da,
That's
da, da.
right. That's right.
Now, and now it's like, wow. Okay, all right. What else? Tell me what else? What else? What
Yeah.
else? It's like I'm
You know, I
excited
love that. I
now.
had a friend of mine who, when we were talking, like, you know, like if we were having a conversation late at night, she would just say, "Tell me what else." And it
Mhm.
was this beautiful, like, just this beautiful kind of openness of just like, "Tell me what else." It
Yes.
was just so beautiful. I love that you said that. Okay, so its bones are soft, its muscles are weak, but its grip is powerful.
Well, that means that when they say the bones are soft, that baby's flexible. Okay,
Mhm.
because she can fall and it ain't gonna break. Okay.
Well, I'm going to tell you, like, well, let's look at that. The bones are soft, so that, and the bones create your structure,
Yeah.
and the
So your
muscles
structure,
create, like, your ability to,
the
like, move
stand.
around and stuff.
That's why I said it shakes your. When I learn new knowledge, it shakes my foundation. It makes my
Right.
legs a little wobbly, but that don't mean I ain't gonna let go.
Right, that's right. But its grip is powerful. That's
Yes.
right. So even though, like, you keep your mind flexible, you keep it all flexible,
Mm-hmm.
but you hold on tightly to who you are.
Yeah.
And not the identity of who you are, but that
No.
oneness that we talk about.
Yeah. That center of the soul place.
Yes. And then it doesn't know the union of male and female, yet its penis can stand erect. So intense is its vital power.
Well, when I think about that, think about the strength, because a child is very resilient. They can fall, they can do this, they
Hmm.
won't break their bones, they bump their head, they get up, they hit the wall, literally hit the wall at 10 miles
Yeah.
an hour. Okay.
Yeah.
And then they bounce off and they get right back up and they keep on going. So my thing is the strength of the when you're in that supple state, I'll say supple state, you are flexible and you can withstand a whole lot and you that you don't even realize you can do. Because I know as a parent, watching my child run and to the wall. I was like,
That's right.
and if I did that, then they would cry. So
That's
I
right.
had to hold my breath and watch them hit the wall. So no, but I'm
And
just
that's vital power, right? That's what we're
yes.
talking about here. Like so intense is their vital power. That power of like deep in the body
Mhm.
power. Like knowing your place in your body.
Mhm.
It can scream its head off all day, yet never become hoarse. So complete is its harmony.
Because it has a voice and it's letting its voice be heard, and because letting its voice be heard, it is harmonious with itself
Yes. And the universe around it.
and the okay, yeah, and the universe around it. Okay.
Right? Like
Yes.
everything around it as well, because it can scream and scream and scream, no matter that everybody else is covering their ears and trying to get out of the room and all of this
Mhm.
stuff and
Mhm.
complaining and all this. They do not take heed. They just
They
continue
gonna
doing
cry
what they
until you
do.
get their needs met. They gonna keep on
Uh-huh.
screaming, and you'll say, "Is it a diaper? You change the diaper. Is it a milk? You give the milk. Is it a burp? You burp. Well, what the hell do you want, baby? No, stop."
Yeah. But
And you got
it's and it is attempting to gain that harmony, and it's like it
it's trying
is.
to get its
And
needs met.
that's right.
Okay,
And
so
it will never become hoarse. And that's
no,
beautiful. Yeah.
that's because it's going to keep on making sure it say, "Hey, hey, 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 hold on,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's not
hold
it.
on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on."
And
Okay.
how many of us as adults, when we don't get our needs met, we just shut down.
Man, a lot of people just shut down. Other people throw tantrums, and then some
Hmm.
people just say, "Excuse me, I'm sorry, I was standing there,"
That's right. I was.
and you know what I mean. So it's kind of like,
Hmm.
yeah. So yeah, oh, I like it. This is good. This is
The
good.
master's power is like this. He lets all things come and go effortlessly without desire.
And that's good too for me because like I said, I don't really. I mean, honest with you, I don't have any. I gotta have this. I gotta have that. I gotta have this. Like I don't have that
Mm.
in me.
Yeah.
That was a long time ago. I'm in the place where the stuff comes and I'm like, yay!
Yeah.
It's not like I need. It just stuff just comes because I'm at peace with who I am and in that place with that. Well, I'll say in place with the spirit that's inside of me, so I don't fret.
Yeah.
Stuff comes, it goes. It comes, it goes. Even the emotions. Like I said,
Hmm.
I'm not where I was at the beginning of this week. I am in a whole nother place and
That's
it
right. That's
elevated
right.
above where because like I said, if that trigger, it
Yep.
felt like it knocked me back, but it did not knock me back. It had gave me a reason, a rewritable moment.
That's right. And
And I
now,
rewrote that. I rewrote how I saw the death. So now when I think, oh, my daughter passed away, I'm not going to think tragedy
right.
because that's what it was. When guess why it was that it was a whoo, and I was like, what happened to me? What the? Oh, I don't even know what I feel. What is that?
Right.
And then like I said, evaluating it, and now here I am. What 4 or 5 days later, and I'm back where I was before the trigger.
And you're
And,
even further along. You
and
even
I
know
felt
more.
wait, and I'm further along because now I have I got an answer as to what happened or whatever, and then it
That's
made
right.
me change something in me so that when it comes up again, I will not have the same emotional response. And I've learned not to put an emotional adjective on something.
That's right.
Okay,
That's right.
do not
Yesterday,
do that. Just
everybody
let
could
it
talk
be.
about adjectives. Like yesterday was you started the theme yesterday.
Because the
And
thing
then
is,
and
we
then
live up to them damn adjectives, okay? Because we put that shit out there in the ethers,
That's right.
and the ethers show us that this is what you said, so this is what you get. And I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, I don't want to put them like that because I don't want to. Because if I, like I said before yesterday, if I say good, this was really good, then something really bad gonna show me was that really good? Here, let me show you this. Well, I guess that wasn't really good. So I forget the qualifiers.
That's
It
right.
just
That's right.
is. It just
Yeah.
is. And I just am. And I'm grateful that I just am. Okay. And I feel good because I realize if I put them qualifiers on, it I'm sorry, it fucks me up.
That's
So
right,
I'm learning.
absolutely.
I'm
And you know,
learning.
this as this wraps up, you know, he never expects results, thus he is never disappointed. He is never disappointed, thus his spirit never grows old. And I'm gonna tell you, Lois, you're probably one of the youngest people I ever have on the show. Because it's true, like you are always, and you know, myself included, like, I
Hmm.
mean, I'm an old man, I was born an old man, but there is that youthfulness that we carry with us
Hmm.
when we can be in that space of not being disappointed. I mean, you know,
It's
people
a
who are
freedom.
constantly disappointed, and those
Yes.
motherfuckers get old real quick.
Oh my Jesus. Oh my Jesus. Oh my. You know, it's not. I'm gonna say this. People always say black don't crack. It's not that black don't crack. It's just that we learn to give up expectations about shit earlier because of the bullshit we go through, and
Every day.
because we do that, you can't see the experiences on our face and in our on our skin, and then I don't know. Me personally, I learned to let go easily forgive easily. You know, to practice, I had to learn to forgive easily. So, because to me, frowning, frowning made me look older. If you saw my picture, even 5 years ago, I look older 5 years ago than I do now. But
Yeah,
I don't frown anymore. I'm not in pain anymore. I'm not frowning like a prune face anymore. So them wrinkles that were made with me frowning, okay, because I didn't like this, I didn't like that, and made me old.
that's right.
Okay, now that my attitude is totally different, and I'm always smiling and stuff, them muscles didn't reverse themselves, and ain't no more wrinkles on the creases and all. And I
Yeah,
thought that was
you're not
pretty
just
cool.
continuing to contribute to them.
Yes, and every time I meditate now, I know that that when we meditate, we were suspended in time because time doesn't time ain't the same when you meditate. So
That's right.
we freeze a little bit of time every time we meditate, and I was like, oh yes, I love this. You know,
Yes,
so
man.
having that meditation and that breath is more than just meditation and breath. It also slows the aging process.
That's right. And that's what, you know, like, and this one talks about that, about being getting young again. And
Yeah.
you can get young again right within your heart just by dropping that disappointment. Never expect results, thus he's never disappointed.
Mm-hmm.
Never disappointed, he never grows old.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Lois. Lois, it's always
Thank
such a
you.
pleasure to have you on.
I appreciate you, Martin John. I had to get on here. I was like, "Oh, it's Friday. Great. Don't go, Miss Martin."
Yep, yep, yep. That's it.
All
That's it
right.
for the weekend.
All right. Thank you so
All
much,
right,
Martin.
love.
Okay. Bye bye.
Frankie, I see you there. I saw you just drop out and come back in, but Kronos has been waiting from the beginning of Lois, so I'm bringing Kronos on. Kronos, how you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm doing good, Martin John. How are you?
Good. I'm doing well. You've come back for more Tao of the day.
Well, actually, I wanted to share something with you. I was talking with a gentleman earlier this morning, and I did a recap of his discussion because he kind of was preaching more than he was motivating, and so I had a nice conversation with him. And then I brought up the Tao of the day, and I brought up chapter 8.
Mm-hmm.
And it was exactly what this gentleman was talking about. And I thought it would just be really kind of cool to tell you that the Tao of the Day actually mirrored exactly what I was talking about as I summarized this man's motivational speech this morning that took him an hour. I was able to sum it up in 3 paragraphs with the Tao of
Yeah,
the Day.
the Tao can do that. The Tao will do that. We like to hear ourselves talk quite a bit. So
I just thought that was rather interesting. That one of the biggest thing is that he was talking about, do what you enjoy, and in family life be completely present. That's part of chapter 8.
yeah,
And um, in the thing that I thought was really cool is when you're content to be simply yourself and don't compare or compete, everybody will respect you.
yeah,
And that's ultimately what he was trying to get at. So
yeah.
I just found it very, very
Well, thank you
amusing
for
that
sharing that. I
I
really
was able to
appreciate
find
you
that.
coming in, and I'm glad it stuck with you to that degree as well.
Well, like I said, just wanted to share that with you. So with
All right.
that, I'm going to slip out and let
All right. We're going to bring
Frankie.
Frankie up and we're going to move on. Thank you so much. All right, we got Frankie coming up. He's been hanging out for a little bit. Frankie, brother,
Good
how you doing,
morning,
man?
John.
How are you?
I'm good. I dropped my phone. My
Oh,
hands, my hands are all screwed up.
okay. It's
So
using lotion, keeping those hands nice and soft.
I have the hyper crazy extreme extra strength lotion.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I,
I go
I
all
don't know
in,
what that
man.
means, but I'm gonna roll with it. Okay,
Yeah.
we're gonna move on. So I know you're on Owl. I'm on Owl too, and really, I've been just touching into it. I've been on for a little bit, and
Hmm.
it's interesting. I don't know. We'll have a talk at some point. You know, we'll connect on that app at some
Yeah,
point as
for
well.
sure. It's one of those things that we actually had a little Zoom meeting the other day that once this thing goes live and real money's flying around, that's when it's gonna go ballistic, really. So
Yeah, yeah.
I look
We've
forward to
got
that. But yeah, we can
Yeah,
definitely
I
chit
got a
chat.
Zoom meeting today with Jason, I believe, and
Yeah.
we'll see what ends up from there.
Well,
So you got a number for me?
I do. I actually got a very unique one. 522. It
So
could be three digits, correct?
no, between 1 and 81.
Oh, okay. Well, then I will pick 78.
Okay, 78. Yeah,
I had a
between 1 and
backup.
81.
Yep, I had a backup.
Oh, good, good. 78. Nothing in the world is as soft and yielding as water. Yet, for dissolving the hard and inflexible, nothing can surpass it. The soft overcomes the hard, the gentle overcomes the rigid. Everyone knows this is true, but few can put it into practice. Therefore, the master remains serene in the mind's sorry. Therefore, the master remains serene in the midst of sorrow. Evil cannot enter his heart because he has given up helping. He is
Huh.
people's greatest help. True words seem paradoxical. I'm going to read that again. I don't know that I think I may have only read this once because I know that I've gone through every number, but this is a number that I have not read a lot. So let me go through this one more time. Nothing in the world is as soft and yielding as water. Yet, for dissolving the hard and inflexible, nothing can surpass it. The soft overcomes the hard, the gentle overcomes the rigid. Everyone knows this is true, but few put it into practice. Therefore, the master remains serene in the midst of sorrow. Evil cannot enter his heart because he has given up helping. He is the people's greatest help. True words seem paradoxical. I like that. What
Yeah,
are your
that's
thoughts?
well. It kind of fits with the last few days of dialogue I've had with various people, and yeah, that makes sense. The word that I think gets me is paradoxal. Um, not certain how that particularly fits in, but as far as the heart and not helping, that makes sense. I won't go into great detail because I don't want to
Yeah,
take
of
too
course,
much
yeah,
time.
yeah. Well,
But
yeah. In the back end of this, we say because he has given up helping, he is the people's greatest help. True
right,
words seem paradoxical. True words seem paradoxical, like because that those last two lines are paradoxical. He's given up helping, but because he has given up helping, he is the people's greatest help.
huh? That's so great. What a great, yeah. Because the way I translate that and understand that is don't focus on helping one person, focus on helping everybody because it's a better help when you don't focus strictly on one person, one problem.
That's right. Focus on stepping back
Right. Yeah, that's
rather
crazy.
than getting yourself like embroiled.
Yeah, that's so good because I made I made a decision yesterday, actually, believe it or not, that I needed to kind of take a step back again and just watch and listen versus diving right into the deep end without a tube to get out. You know what I mean? Because I can't
Yeah.
swim well. That's no, that's deep. That's great.
Yeah.
That's a great one, and that the number I gave you is that's the year of my birth. So that's crazy.
78.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
that's
that's
pretty
cool.
deep.
Look at that. Yeah, nice. So as we start this, because now we'll go through it line by line a bit. There's like nothing in the world is soft and yielding as water. Yet nothing yet for dissolving the hard and inflexible. Nothing can surpass it. So, I mean, when we take that last line into consideration with this first line, like your ability to step back and yield, your ability to not control, your ability to be soft and yielding, like water. Like now we're starting to talk about like water has this ability because it's not trying to, it doesn't have this like idea, this will of its own. It is just being water.
Right.
Nothing in the world is as soft, and water will take whatever shape you put it in. Water will go down a stream, and when like it'll overflow or it'll
Hmm.
stay within the banks and it'll do what it needs to do.
Yeah, it
And
can
yet,
also be a defense too, because if you put a moat around your house, it makes it
right,
even that more difficult to get in.
that's right.
That's crazy. That's cool. I like that.
And
Yeah.
then we move into the soft overcomes the hard, the gentle overcomes the rigid. Everyone knows this is true, but few put it into practice.
That's so good. That's so true. Because I mean, to translate that for me, kill people with kindness.
Right,
When people are nasty, rigid, and everything else, if you do the exact opposite and treat them with respect and love and dignity, that'll defeat that. That's crazy.
right. They have absolutely no defense for someone who is not defending themselves, right? Like when you're nice to someone, and I know when I was, and I talk about this, and you and I are both in we've had a program of recovery.
Hmm.
Um, when I was 19, someone just showed me respect, and that respect eventually eroded my hard exterior to get me clean finally at 26.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
so
deep.
like that's how this kind of soft and yielding is water. Not but nothing everything yet for dissolving the hard and inflexible, nothing can surpass it. The soft overcomes the hard, the gentle overcomes the rigid. Everyone knows this is true, but few put it into practice. If you just, and as a harm reductionist at heart, like I always say, just love a motherfucker. Like that's it. Like it's not about
Yeah,
pushing them to their limit. It's not about you're doing them a favor by being hard or being because there's that tough love stance, like by
yeah,
being tough, you're not helping anybody, like and because the soft overcomes the hard, and we know that.
yeah. I have a great
Therefore,
example of that
no,
actually. When
please,
you're
yeah,
done, 2 years ago, I was at work and I had started in a different, not department, but a different team and different job detail. And one of the old timers flipped out on me because I wasn't doing it right. And it was my first day on that team. And he was barking at me, swearing at me, saying this, saying that. And I just stood there very calmly. And when he was done, I reached out and I said, "Thank you for sharing that with me because I didn't know. And I appreciate that."
yeah,
And he didn't know what to say.
right,
He stood, and this guy's known for being a bully, right? And instead of giving him what he wanted, which was a retaliated comment so he could carry on with his rant, I just said, "Thank you. I appreciate you sharing that with me because I had no clue that's how it went." Done.
right,
And then since that time, I haven't seen him in a while, but since that, after that moment, there was nothing. It was all, a mutual head nod respect thing. But the point is I didn't fight him on it. He was right with everything he was saying, but the way he delivered it was just very vulgar and unnecessary. And instead of being the old me and blah, 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 right back, because I knew it would have just gotten worse, I just did the exact opposite. And I thanked him for sharing what I needed to do.
yeah. And
That
if
was
you
it.
weren't doing that, and if that was being done in a sarcastic way, he would have picked up on it. And if
Right. I
that was
was,
being
mhm.
done in a malicious way, he would have picked up on it. But because it came from your heart, and you were just like, "Hey, thanks. I'm not going to engage."
Yeah, I shook his hand and everything. I said, thank
Yeah,
you.
that's
You
right.
know, that's all I had to say. Thank you for sharing with me what I am responsible for doing because I
Yep.
did not know.
Yeah. Now I know, and it won't happen again, boss.
Yeah. I mean, the kind of job I did, it's like, when you start doing something new, everyone just, they don't tell you what to do. You got to just
That's right.
figure it out.
Yeah, that's right.
And I figured it out that day, but I figured it out by having one of my eardrums blown out. But hey, whatever. I didn't get in any trouble. He didn't get in any trouble. The rest of the day was peaceful and there was no
Yeah,
problem. So that was a proud moment for me because the old me would have been like, what? Who are you
that's right.
talking to? Who the hell
Yeah.
are
Well,
you?
I didn't know. Like, I'm gonna get mad because I didn't know, and like you're telling me I should have known, and dot dot dot. It's like no, 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 no.
In,
Like
in fact, yeah, he followed that up. One thing he did say is that's the problem with this place. There's no training. So then he redirected his anger towards
that's
the
right.
proper authorities that
Right.
should have
Absolutely.
provided that training.
Yep.
So it, killed two birds with one stone. And like I said, I wasn't upset. He wasn't upset. The day went on.
That's good.
It was
And
cool. It was a
so
proud moment.
yeah, yeah, that's awesome because people take like, of course you have a right to be angry, but do you want to use that right? Do you want to?
Yeah,
Do you want
I
to?
pick my battles now.
That's right. Yeah.
I don't have. I mean, listen, I have days.
Of
There's
course.
sometimes I say things and I don't. And I'm still in the process of
Absolutely. We
doing
all
my
are.
thing.
You're
Man, I
alive.
will
We're
never
okay.
say, yeah. I own my mistakes. I'm certain you've heard. I don't hide. I'm not ashamed. I'm not embarrassed anymore. I share because in order to get better, you have to talk about it and get it
Right.
out. And when you verbalize things and think about things and even write them down, it's giving you more leverage to move in the direction you want to.
Yeah.
So, I'm a firm believer that people are, I'm not going to change who I am. I am who I am. Out I'm outgoing, I'm forthcoming, I'm fun, aggressive in fun ways, but I can change my behavior all day long. I don't
Yeah.
have to change me. I just have to change my behavior. And that's what I strongly believe in because, you have those people, oh, he'll never change. He'll never change. Blah, 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 blah. And it's right to a certain degree, but I can change how I react, how I behave, and how I treat other people.
Yeah.
And that's what I focus on,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
And then yeah, and so this goes on to talk a little bit more about that. Like this, therefore the master remains serene in the midst of sorrow. Like instead of always kind of reacting, like you can
Mhm.
remain serene in the midst of whatever it's like you said, how you react to it. You can remain serene in the midst of any emotion. Evil
Right.
cannot enter his heart. Evil being that which you do not want to kind of that which you are not connected with to enter your heart.
Yeah, that's cool, man. That was a good one. I appreciate
Yeah.
that. That's
And
pretty
then
cool.
this just wraps up with that, what we were talking about in the beginning. Because he has given up helping, he is the people's greatest help.
Yeah, backing off sometimes is better than trying to force your way into helping people. When
That's right.
people, and just like I know, when you want the help, you're going to get it.
That's right. That's right. When you
You
want it, you're
have to
going to get
want it.
it. And until
Yeah.
then, you're going to be, whatever you're doing, but pretending
Yeah.
to look for it, or trying to be seen as looking for it, or whatever.
hmm Yeah,
It's
and sometimes people do it to save face or look better. But when somebody, like for me, I was ready. I knew I was ready. I wanted to help. It didn't matter what anybody else around me thought I needed. I knew what I needed, and I took the help. But I also know now from that moment that you're either ready or you're not, and
right.
that's it. You can't be half ready. I mean, we know that from our histories.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a very, very good reading. I appreciate that, and made me
Yeah.
feel better.
Well,
Because
good.
I still need motivation and inspiration. I'm not gonna ever not need that. I mean, everybody needs a little bit of a boost here and there, and that's a great boost for me to know that I am in the right direction and I am handling my life affairs correctly. I do have little hiccups here and there, but I deal with them. I maintain the best I can, and I own my mistakes. Can't
Oh,
change yesterday. You can only change what you're doing now, and that's
that's
it.
right.
Period.
All
The
right,
end.
Frankie.
Thank you
Thank you
for
so
having
much
me.
for having me here, coming up, and we'll be in touch.
Yeah, we'll definitely be in touch. And as always, I love your words, and you're an inspiration. And keep doing what you're doing, man.
Thank you.
Frankie J out.
Too. Sharente's coming up, and this will have to be the end of Tao of the Day after this. Hey, Sharente, how you doing, love?
Martin John Garcia.
I'm
Happy
damn good.
Friday.
Yes, like happy yogurt day. Friday. No, happy Friday. Friday. I know people say that.
Martin, can you hear me?
I've seen that on the memes and things.
Oh no, I missed everything you just said because I was in the Matrix.
Oh yeah, you go into the Matrix so often.
When my Wi-Fi is on, honestly, my Wi-Fi says, you know what? We're going to play with you today. Uh-huh. And I had to
That's
turn off.
well, and just just roll with those punches, girl.
Dude, I really do. I really do. So my question to you is this, sir, is I'm going to give you a number I already gave you, but you said you're in a new translation. So I'm hoping it's
Oh,
a little different. Or are you back in the older one?
I'm in an older translation, so if you give me the same number, it'll be a different translation.
Okay, then I want to do 77 because that popped up for me again yesterday.
Okay. Yeah, because I think you and I went through the Derek Lynn, but then I came out to Virginia and I forgot my power cord, and so like I'm back to Stephen Mitchell, and so but yeah, we'll go through Stephen Mitchell's now. And
Okay.
Stephen Mitchell is really accessible. It's really it's more of it's less esoteric usually. So let's
Okay.
see. As it acts on the world, the Tao is like the bending of a bow. The top is bent downward, the bottom is bent up. It adjusts excess and deficiency so that there is perfect balance. It takes from what is too much and gives to what isn't enough. Those who try to control, who use force to protect their power, go against the direction of the Tao. They take from those who don't have enough and give to those who have far too much. The master can keep giving because there is no end to her wealth. She acts without expectation, succeeds without taking credit, and doesn't think that she is better than anyone else.
Is that the end of it this
Yeah.
time? Okay.
Yes.
Just making sure. I will
Yes.
say I'm getting another interpretation. And for me, it's in alignment to what I figured out last night or in the day before what my true purpose is, what my true business niche is, which
Mm-hmm.
is helping kids. I can help
Yeah.
adults all day on this app, but the kids need it more because there's a lot of parents that are not there or they're too mentally distant that they're not getting the hey, this is how you're going to have to handle finances. They're not getting hey, this is how you handle going to college. Hey, this is how you handle your first job. They're not getting any of that.
Well, I'm gonna push back just a little bit because that's what I do. Um,
Oh no,
and
that's
and
fine.
and I'm gonna say it's not that the children need it more because more is a relative term, but you want to help children more. The more is with
Yes.
you, and that's what you want, and that's why it's you don't we and that is what is going to bring you fulfillment. Like it's not about what the customer wants. I mean, yes, it will be ultimately, but it's about what you want to provide because you will be able to provide in a much greater capacity when you are in line with what you want. If you look out to the market, I'm sure we can find someone that needs it more than even, children in the first world that are going to go to college.
I
But
got you.
you know what I'm saying? And so it's not about comparing to who needs what. It's about where is your place, Sharente? Because your place
Martin,
is where you
it
go. Yeah,
it is kids. It's always been kids.
absolutely,
And the
always.
thing is hero. It's honestly it's been kids and adults. Like
Yeah,
almost it's
kids
been
will be adults.
yeah, but my thing is for me it's I have for me and my passion and stuff like that, I've trained a lot for to be able to help. And I didn't realize in what capacity that would look like.
Mhm.
But my thing is I like helping adults when it comes to technology. But when it comes to kids, I like helping them understand how to navigate this life because I have run into many kids that are like, Sharente, I don't get it. And I'm like, okay, what don't you get? And then we just sit down and we have a conversation.
Yeah.
And it's very, these kids are very, I love talking to kids. I really do. And I love hearing about, okay, Sharente, this is what happened in high school. This person said this. And I was like, tell me more. And I'm
Yeah.
so enthralled because it's a full on story.
Yeah.
So I will say for me, in regards to balancing the both, is I, here, who I want to help more are people that are growing up right now. And the
Yeah.
reason is because like I said, I have seen it where parents are not there. I have seen it when parents are there, but that's more fewer than I've actually like experienced, which I think is very weird. And I've done this from different vantage points of volunteering and working in another job and all that stuff. And I've seen the dynamics.
Mhm.
And I've talked to the kids and I'm like, and it's a lot of them, not just in one state, in
Right.
multiple states. And then I also was having a vision of me going to another country to help kids. I wanted to go to
Mm.
South Korea to teach kids how to speak English. I wanted to go to Nigeria to help one of my clients that is working on helping the farmers build a school for their kids and actually establishing a curriculum so they can actually start learning. These those things excite me. Those
Yeah.
things are a passion of mine, but I also like helping adults.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, and when my business coach is asking me or anyone's asking me, what's your business is? What's your business is? I'm like, I can't tell you. I can't tell you. And I
Good.
was not being able to tell anyone because I was not reconnected back with the whole of myself.
Right.
And it makes sense. It
Yeah.
makes sense. So the hero, like I said, this 77 reads differently than it
Mhm.
first did to me in regards to balance, but
Right.
it's still balance at the end
It
of the
is.
day.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this one because we do kind of have this as it acts upon the world, right? The word, like, the Tao is acting upon the world. So it's not only creating the environment that has the need, but it is also creating you who can resolve the need, right? So, I mean, when we look at that, right, it's like as it acts on the world, the Tao is like the bending of a bow. The top is bent downward, the bottom is bent up. The top bending downward might be the need that has been created in the world over the last 200 years of, like, not listening to children to allow you to take your place. And you're not alone. There are
There are so
myriads of
many
people
people that are
want.
trying to help. I said there's so
That's
many
right.
people that are trying to help kids, and I'm just like, can I be a part of y'all team? That's
That's
all.
right. That's right. And that's how this, like, it adjusts excess and deficiency. There's excess of the problem and deficiency in the world of help, and now that is being adjusted. And then there is also the other aspects of all of this where it's like there's excess and deficiency in the reasons people are doing it. Some people are doing it for profit. Some people are doing it, like, some people are like, I want to help children. Let's make games, let's make tech games for them to learn from, but they're bringing in psychologists rather than teachers to design those courses because those courses need to sell products. And
Oh
so
yeah. I,
those sorts of things, that is where these excess and deficiencies get created. And then people like yourself with good intentions and good hearts and good ideas come in and can bring this to balance.
I'm just gonna say, oh yeah. I'm just gonna keep agreeing. Oh yeah, even though I'm not in the crowd hitting the button. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
I like I said, I will say this is the art of balance is just also for every part of my life, which is
Mm-hmm.
balance in my finances, balance in the house, balance in regards to what I'm actually eating and not overeating in excess of one thing. Because I remember my mom always told me this to help me, which was some of all of nothing,
That's right.
whatever it is. And that stuck with me.
Yeah.
So,
You can do
I,
everything on your own because you get 100% of the profit. But if 100% is nothing, you get it all. But if you can share that, like you said, like I want to be a part of this bigger group of people that are helping children. Like when you can I be on your team? Like now you get a part of the profit, but at least it's, a part of something rather than all of nothing.
exactly. And I just, I will say I'm excited for the day. I'm excited that intuition, going within myself, helped me find myself.
Mm.
And I did a talk last night, and it's not to self promote, but I feel very proud of it because I got back to hero. I was talking about reconnecting with your inner child because that's what I had to do. This was one of my final steps to a hero, getting back my memories because a year ago, Martin John, I couldn't remember majority of my childhood. Not because it was bad, because my subconscious was trying to protect me. Because I felt like those memories and those emotions in those memories was too great to handle. So I
Mm.
blocked them out
Yeah.
completely. And I started re-listening back to all the Disney music that I used to listen to when I was a child because I loved Disney. Loved Disney. Disneyland was the place to be. Love Disney. So I started listening to it, and as I started to listen to it, I got sillier and sillier, and I was belting it out. Okay, it was full on concerts in the
Mhm.
car,
Yeah.
and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. And before I started my talk, I don't generally get nervous before I start speaking. But last night, I was nervous before I started speaking. For me, I knew that that means that it was time for me to speak about it.
Mm.
It was time. And told a whole bunch of stories and stuff like that. And it felt good to be able to hold a conversation by myself. Okay.
Mm.
Because going on to wisdom, you are generally by yourself until someone decides that they're going to come up on stage to impart on you any wisdom too. And I I've had issues holding conversations by myself, even though it doesn't sound like it on my talks. I have.
Right. Mhm.
And last night I was just in flow. And I
Good.
was just giddy, laughing the laughing the entire time. Um because things are just really funny, and that's how I was able to refine of no, Sharente originally was Tay Tay.
Mm.
Tay Tay left. Now Tay Tay is back, and
Yeah.
she's ready to be super silly.
Good. Good on you. Good on you. And that's like that brings in this next line, which is really interesting. Those who try to control, who use force to protect their power, go against the direction of the Tao. And if you were to try and not let Tay Tay come in, if you were trying to maintain the professional, strong, like adult, like Sharente, like identity, then you'd be going against the Tao. But to allow that in, because that's such an important role in what you're going to be moving into.
It is, and a kid can smell a hypocrite a mile
Hmm.
away.
Yes,
And my
they
thing
know.
is, when I started not working with kids, was I felt like I was the hypocrite, so I had to take a step back because I wasn't all the lessons that I was teaching them, I wasn't truly living. And I said, you know what? I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to stay quiet. I'm going to separate myself right now, and I need to go find myself. And it's
Mm.
been an ever beautiful journey of finding myself to come back to, hey, I'm healed enough. Let's do this again.
Yeah. Yeah, and then I mean, that's beautiful. And this just wraps up with the master can keep giving because there is no end to her wealth. She acts without expectation, succeeds without taking credit, and doesn't think she is better than anyone else.
And I love that because being humble doesn't mean I have to not shine at
That's right.
all.
That's
It
right.
just means I don't have to say everything. And I've learned to keep my mouth shut. on a lot of things. So thank you, Martin John, and have
Abs-
an amazing Friday.
Enjoy your weekend, love. It's so wonderful to hear from you. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. I will not be taking any more number requests. I have a meeting starting in 15 minutes, so I have to get to that. Love you guys so much. I'm Martin John, the Recovery Mentor. I host the Recover Yourself podcast, Recover Yourself workshop. If you're looking for clarity in your life, you're going to want to talk with me. Shoot me a DM in my Instagram. Reach out to me on my website. I have all sorts of stuff over there, resources as well as information about what I do. You can listen to all of my wisdom talks there. I'm, of course, on Wisdom here, doing Tao of the Day Monday through Friday. I didn't do my On Recovery talk, so that's probably going to come at some point this weekend. Because I love my On Recovery talks, and I had a workshop this week, which kept that from happening. So, until next time, each and every one of you, I wish you the best and that you continue to recover yourself.